Worldwide, sickle cell disease poses a significant public health concern. Nigeria has the largest population of people anywhere in the world with the disorder and is also the top sickle cell endemic country in Africa, with an annual infant death of about 150,000. Parents are more often unprepared to identify sickle cell disease and seek comprehensive management early enough for the best outcome. Since 2008, World Sickle Cell Awareness Day has been held annually in order to help increase public knowledge and raise awareness of sickle cell disease and the struggles sufferers and their families go through. June 19th was chosen to commemorate the day, on which a resolution was officially adopted by the General Assembly of the United Nations, recognizing sickle cell disease as a public health concern. The theme for the year 2020 is Just Be You. Awareness of carer status and knowledge of sickle cell disease will ensure informed reproductive choices. On this episode of Wellbeing, I'm joined by Rabi Maidunama, a sickle cell disease advocate and champion. She's the founder of Maidunama Sickle Cell Foundation. She loves traveling, adventure, and ice cream.
Hello and welcome to another enlightening episode of Wellbeing here on AD4 TV Radio. I am Adirayo Senami. Nigeria has the largest population anywhere in the world of people living with sickle cell disease. This is quite frustrating for the families. Acquiring the right knowledge of your status and the right information helps in reproductive choices that one makes. And so on this episode of Wellbeing, I'm joined by Rabi Maidunama. She's a sickle cell advocate and a champion. She's the founder of Maidunama Sickle Cell Foundation. It's a delight, a pleasure, and honor to have you on Wellbeing, Rabi. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So because we have very short time, I'm going to dive in feet first.
Okay.
When did you first realize that you require special care for the rest of your life? When did you become aware that you had something called sickle cell disease?
Well, I think maybe when I was about probably 5 years old. I can remember just few clips from the past, but I was diagnosed at 6 months, and then it became full-blown when I was 2 years, 6 months. So I was diagnosed in England because I had we call it multiple osteomyelitis in all my joints, so all my joints are swollen. And my mom was like, what is this? You know, and then the Nigerian doctor said I had to go through surgery. Then she took me to England, and then they said, okay, how can a baby go through multiple surgeries? You know, and then they started, and then they now taught my mom how to go to manage this and explain to her what it is. And eventually she became like more or less like an advocate, like counselor for other patients and parents over there, and then she had this, good understanding of what it is. So growing up, I knew that I was more like I wouldn't say a spoiled baby, but I knew I was special in a way because I always got what I wanted, and then I had a special place in my father's heart, and then but then I was aware that growing up, I started developing pain. I started remembering the pain that I can't go to school. I started missing schools and all that. And then that's how I grew up to be an adult. And then I started managing myself, as an adult, knowing my do's and don'ts. And that has helped me to become who I am today.
Thank you very much, Rabi. I'm sorry I had to drag that, but I know you do this often, giving talks, and you yourself have become a champion and an advocate for sickle cell disease. But I felt our listeners needed to hear that. So I want to I was going to ask you something personal. Are you the only person in your family living with sickle cell disease?
Right now we're 2.
Siblings?
Yes, and I lost one some few years ago.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, she developed the complications, which of course could not be handled, but I don't know. So I lost a sister to it. That was one of them, that was what motivated me.
To start your foundation.
Yes.
So it's you are going strong, and I hope you're here for a long time to come.
Amen.
Amen. So that tells me that sickle cell disease is acute in some people and it's chronic. Or some people, do they develop? How do I put it? Okay.
Oh yes, there are people that don't have crisis often.
Okay.
It all depends on a genetic makeup.
Yeah.
Like there's we all have exposure, or we have flu symptoms. How will I put it? Like the flu symptoms affect people in different ways. Yeah. Some people can last only 3 days. Some will have catarrh for a week, and so it depends on our immune system. And as I said, management, right? So for others, there are sickle cell warriors that have to take blood transfusions every month to keep moving. There are others that hardly fall ill, maybe once in a year, and some once in 6 months.
Does this have anything to do with their makeup or?
Yes, sometimes it does, and then sometimes the management, right? Sometimes access to medical care and routine drugs. For me, at one point, I was going to, as a child, every 6 months, I was taken to England for what we call the packed cells, which is a red blood cells, only red blood cells, not a complete blood transfusion. It's a packed cells. And then if I have that, I can last another 6 months before I fall ill again. So my body is, has all the cells it needs and all that to function for at least another 6 months, and then I go back for that same. And then so there's something we call hemolysis, which is the breakdown of the cells. So for patients that have that, they're usually anemic. And remember, not every sickle cell patient is anemic. Yes, it could be. Yes, for us, people will think we're anemic, but for me, if my PCV is 28, is 30, I'm not anemic. But for a normal person, probably they'll think I'm anemic. But because I have this disorder, there's a limit to what I'll call anemia, because I'll require blood transfusion and all that. And growing up, I never had, my complications were not with the blood transfusions. I had a more exposed, my complications came with bone issues. Right? That's where my
that's why you required the
that I had surgeries over and over again on my bones, right, on my legs. That's where my own complication is. So it could be kidney failure for some people. It could be wherever blood flows. There's a possibility. It could be short-sightedness for people. It could be toothache. It could be so many things for warriors. So for me now, with the management, I think I only fall into crisis probably once in 2 years, or because if I have to fall into crisis, there's what we call a minimum. There's not this kind of full-blown crisis. It's crisis that you just do a bit, few days, and you're up again. So it all depends on, it's a combination of all this to get warriors going.
Thank you so much for that breakdown. There was something I missed introducing you this, when we started the show. I was going to go, I have Rabi Maidunama. She's a sickle cell advocate. She's a champion. And yes, she's the president of her Rotary Club. And she loves adventure, loves traveling, and she loves ice cream. How could I have forgotten that? And I was going to say the first thing when I see you is Happy Warriors Day. Happy Warriors Day, Rabi.
It's a celebration for all warriors.
Yes, it is.
It's a birthday for all warriors.
It is. I apologize. Now I'm in my element. So I want to go to something. I want to take you back to something you said earlier on. It was, you said 6 months. While I was preparing for this episode, I checked through and I observed that because sickle cell is not detected early in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria has half of the world's population of people living with sickle cell disease. I was going to ask you to speak to those statistics, but in a bit. And I heard that you don't find out about it until about 6 months to 1 year, or in some cases, 3 years of age. Why is that so? Why doesn't Nigeria have a screening policy in place?
Exactly. That's what we keep asking, and I hope that from this advocacy and all that, with the help of media like you guys and all that, government will make it a policy that newborn screening should be done immediately, right? And there are screenings that, before, after fertilizations, there's a screening that you have to do for some parents that know already they've been exposed, not in that sense, in the sense that they are AS and they're AS, so there's a possibility. So there are tests you can do to actually dictate if your fetus is going to be a sickle cell patient or is gonna, escape that. So there's amniocentesis, and there are lots of others kind of tests. We can be done in 2 months, 3 months, and you can dictate. But actually, newborn screening is not done in Nigeria, which is what we should start.
Okay, so but is there advocacy for it? Is that part of what you do?
Yes, it's part of it now. Yes, there's so many issues coming up with newborn policy, and I think screening policy, I think with time, in a year or two, we should be able to accomplish that.
But that doesn't nip the problem of sickle cell disease in the bud, though. We still have to tell people, stop. If you're AA,
of course, that's not even, yes, that's just part of screening the child early and just trying to manage the child with the best routine drugs.
Yes.
That's as much as we're gonna get. And it's not prevention, of course. Prevention is always better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rabi.
Thank you.
So, COVID-19, we're in the new normal. Who knows for how long this is going to be for.
Yes.
So, but I know sickle warriors, that's survivors, people living with sickle cell disease, they fall into the category of people who are vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah. So, in your case, how have you been coping, when you first,
Well, you see, the funny thing about COVID is we have what is called acute chest syndrome in sickle cell. It comes with fever, it comes with chest pain, it comes with cough, and all the flu symptoms you can think of, body aches and all that. It comes with all packaged in one crisis known as acute chest syndrome. That is when the crisis is attacking your chest. There's no difference with COVID. And so when it all started, and some warriors were like, is it acute chest syndrome that everybody is making noise about? Because you're going to go on ventilator or oxygen, you're going to be on antibiotics, you're going to have your fever control and all that. Then you have to take your cough syrup, and then they were like, is it the same crisis we have that people are making noise? We have survived this over and over. And surprisingly, warriors are passing through this amazingly. Like the African Journal on Sickle Cell reported like over 75 warriors have survived this. Because I'm sure that some of them have actually had, I know they're two different things, but this is part of the will to survive, this is part of it, that, okay, this is not something we have gone through. For me, of course, you try as much as possible to reduce exposure to everything that will, and then try to keep the norms of avoiding COVID. That's what we do, and then encourage others to do as well, because of course we're vulnerable, and so we have to reduce going to the hospital, visiting the clinics again, no more clinics for us, and then your routine drugs, you have to know how to take it, especially to the less fortunate, no more gathering before we give out drugs and all that. So drugs have to reach patients at home. So that's what we've been doing home and abroad. That's what warriors are advised to just stay indoors. And there was a comedy that one just posted on Twitter, and he was like, okay, the government should have said AA should stay at home. I mean, AA should go out and everybody should stay at home, since they think they have the strongest genotype, and let's see how strong AA are. Okay.
So you're watching Wellbeing here on 84 TV Radio. We'll be right back after this break.
As the world faces the challenge of the coronavirus pandemic and governments around the world are racing against time, 84 TV Radio thanks you all for doing your part to stop the spread of the disease. Be safe at home and practice hygiene. Protect yourself and others. Do not panic. Do not self-medicate. Listen to all preventive advice and stay at home, as well as maintain social distancing. Say no to fake news. Get authentic updates from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the Federal Ministry of Health, the NCDC, and of course, 84 TV Radio, your reliable and credible channel. Please stay safe to save others.
Welcome back. You've been watching Wellbeing. On this episode, we're talking about sickle cell disease, and my guest has been the delightful, beautiful-eyed Rabi Maidunama. Rabi, thank you so much for doing this
you.
today. Knowing that today is even Warriors Day, is there some advocacy you're supposed to be, are you? Okay,
yes.
so tell me
Most
about
of them are, of course, on social media because of the protocol of COVID.
Yes.
So for this year, the theme is be just be you.
Be you.
Yeah. So where there are lots of videos going on. I'm strong. I'm beautiful as a warrior. This has helped to reduce the discrimination, associated with sickle cell and the stigma. And for the foundation, we have actually done what is called the Warriors Got Talent. So we're showcasing all the talented warriors, home and abroad. So we have all the talents you can think of. We have people in the medical field, we have bakers, we have engineers, couriers have taken pictures of what they know how to do best, and we're showcasing it on the social media. So it's been a joyful moment for them, and nobody wants to know again, I'm a warrior, but I know how to do something. Don't look at me like I'm half human or something. So that has uplifted the spirit.
But I want to ask, since we're in Nigeria, Nigeria has the highest number in the world. Is that accurate? It was something I wanted to ask in the beginning.
No, it is. I think this is the most populous black nation.
Black nation, yes.
And then Nigeria now, we have the statistics of 1 out of every 4 Nigerian is either a sickle cell carrier or a sickle cell warrior. So it's like 25% of the population are already affected. It's like a time bomb. So it is true. If that is what we have, then, getting the match is always difficult, and people just keep marrying each other. This is where now cultural and religious difference now plays a role that has refused to reduce the number of sickle cell patients in Nigeria. Our cultural and religious beliefs is the number one factor. And then, of course, people in the rural areas, lack of education, lack of awareness, ignorance, and all this has led to this, what Nigeria is facing today.
Are those some of the challenges you face?
Yes, of course. Yes, even the educated ones, I'm kind of disappointed, because when you're doing a counseling session with couples, they use religion to try and get away with it.
And I expect religious leaders to be more responsible.
Exactly. Now we commend the churches. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You have to get a test.
Yes. HIV, genotype.
Genotype, yes.
People from the north are still dragging their feet. Sitting here, we can join 2 people in marriage and nobody cares. But now, at least some of them have started understanding that is it that we don't love our own people and then we're just careless about health. And this is a medical condition. Until people accept that as a medical condition, that's where the cultural thing comes in now. They think it's either Obanje or Abiku, or my people call it Aljanu. So that's where the culture now comes in now. So until we understand that it's a medical condition, then we're not getting anywhere with trying to stop it, breaking the cycle, or trying to get help to those living with it.
Yeah, thank you so much. You put it so beautifully, because it was one of the things I wanted to ask. I wanted to talk about people praying away sickle cell disease using herbal potions, drink this, oh my God, or the Christians, who believe that once you do the test, go back, you go for a prayer session. Yes,
and then you automatically change your genotype. It
just changes your genotype.
I usually ask that, can you actually pray to become a white man from a black man? I need to see that. Until you're able to do that, that is genetics for you.
Yeah.
This is your gene. You don't pray for such things to happen, right? You pray for, guidance, and then God should heal you from whatever is afflicting you. Yeah. Until you accept your problem, you cannot even pray over it, and God is not going to be responsible for your carelessness.
Thank you so much, Rabi. Does sickle cell disease, does it affect girls differently from boys? Do we have more girls?
Yes, we have a complication for both sexes, right? In men, boys, there's what you know as the painful erection. This is one of the complications that is different from the female genders, yes. And it can lead to impotency, it can lead to so many things, because when your crisis attacks the male organ, it can go on they have an erection, not sexually aroused or something, for so long, and the veins become very painful, and they last for days, and that can kill all the, weaken the reproductive system. And for ladies, anywhere can pain you. You can have crisis of the boobs, you can have crisis anywhere. It can also affect your menstrual cycle and all that. So these are just a few of the complications that warriors face. So
it's not an easy life,
yeah,
but you carry on so beautifully. You're such an encouraging person. How long has the Medunama Foundation been for?
Like 10 years, and because of us, because of
That's
me,
quite a long time.
Yes, of me as a person, so many have come out of their, hiding,
your
accepting
Facebook page is filled
the
with
peace.
so many warriors. I told
Yes.
you about the lady Pearl
Yes.
Titilayo. You're such a role model and an inspiration for so many of them.
Thank you so much. They appreciate that fact. Last year we did the face of sickle cell. In
Pageants?
September we do that. Yeah, it's an online thing.
Okay.
You just pick, it's a voting online, and you pick your favorite face, and then you have a face of sickle cell for the year throughout. So that's coming up in September. We do for the girls separately and for the guys, and that has brought people like the youths out from wherever they are and go like, and then they have a token to go with it for winning the prize. So these are some of the exciting activities we use to make them accept the people they are.
So your foundation is not based in the northern part of
No,
Nigeria?
of course, it's
well
everywhere. Yes, it's everywhere. Like this year's challenge of Warriors Got Talent from the US, we got people who are willing to participate from the UK and all that. We have rap artists in the UK and US and all, so it was really fantastic.
So we're wrapping up now. One of the things I said starting off is acquiring the right knowledge, as in knowing your status is important. I want you to tell our listeners at home, tell them your own message, what it is you've been preaching for the past 10 years and what you want them to take away from it from this year's celebration. Okay, well, this year's celebration is for warriors, but I'm sure there's some things you want to tell Nigerians out there who are watching you.
Yeah, of course. Please know your genotype and make the right choice. Sickle cell is 100% preventable, and it's not a contagious disease, so stop the stigma and discrimination. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's a great place to wrap up. It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
And yes, whenever you have advocacy, you need my help. I'm ready at your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so it's a wrap on this episode of Wellbeing here on AD4 TV Radio. I am Adira Yosenami. Thank you for watching.